little tent, but oh, just like the river I've been running.
Let me start by thanking very much our professor. And no matter what we say and what we do, we cannot thank him enough, because I have never seen more generous and more willing to share knowledge than Professor Abdullahi. We really are pleased and pleasured and honored by having him come and nurture us with all his knowledge and his information. I will just stick, I'm not a very much knowledgeable person when it comes to religion, so I'm not going to touch on the other part, on the second part of what Professor Abdullahi mentioned. I will just stick to the first point about the change, and I am really captivated by I was already captivated by what Mahatma Gandhi said and what Professor Abdullahi emphasized and wanted us to take and operationalize. And I think operationalize is the word, because we always come and sit and very attentively and listen and maybe even understand whatever the lecturers say, but we always leave it behind. And I think the most important thing is to be the change you want to make, every word of it, and put rhythm into it, and operationalize it, make it a frame of your mind. I think this is what we need to do. So we have to ask ourselves, do I want to make any change? The first thing, and what change it is, to operationalize it, and then we start being that change. I think this is the most important thing, so we have to put it in mind. Thank you.
I just want to say, if somebody they want to ask a question in Arabic, they're welcome to. Yes.
Okay, thanks to Professor Abdullah. Actually, what he said, I always felt that way, but maybe I didn't articulate it the way he did. I felt we have to change to make change. Now, on the other question of Islam and how do we deal with this? I was in Dubai working in a media company. Then an American producer knocked the door and said, "Hello guys, you are Muslims?" We said yes. He said, do you believe that Muslims are not the same as Bin Laden, the majority of Muslims? We said yes. They said, all right, this $100,000 make me a documentary. So we started debating the question. I was entitled to produce this documentary. And I started by asking, okay, that's Bin Laden, he's a Muslim, he's in the caves, he's in Afghanistan, and that is me. A regular Sudanese guy who was raised in Omdurman and studied and everything. So what difference between me and this guy? So I came to the point that the difference is understanding Islam itself. How do I interpret the text? And from there I started writing the documentary, which luckily was shown in 56 countries. Now, we understand that. We understand Daesh or ISIS does not represent me. The same as Bashir and his group does not represent my Islam, my vision of Islam. So how to go about it? There is a vision of Islam which is in books, in schools, in everywhere, and there is Islam in my mind. I don't accept that. So I get alienated myself and this Islam and what is happening. So I prefer, I say, okay, let them all go to hell. So tell me what to do.
Do you want to respond first or want to take up?
Let's take maybe a couple.
Okay, go ahead, Yusuf.
طيب انا هبدا لكم القصه بتاعت الكلام بالعربي. طيب شكرا جزيلا يا بروف، محاضره قيمه وجميله. الحقيقه عندي نقطتين اثنين بس يعني انجلش.
If anyone didn't understand,
I was translating the question also.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
لا نقول
I can translate after.
لأنه ما نكون هزمنا غلط بأنه
طيب الحقيقة يعني عندي نقطتين بخصوص التغيير. يعني أنا بتفق معاك إنه طبعا التغيير بيجي from within. يعني الإنسان ما ممكن يحاول يغير من غير ما هو يتغير ذاته. لكن how do you do it without like a conducive environment? You need to have a conducive environment for change. وهنا بيجي الكويشن بتاع leadership برضه. يعني I think a society in general بيحتاج leaders عشان يقدروا يقودوا change. I think this has been one of the big failures. This has been one of the big failures في السودان وفي وسط الانتليجنسيا بتاعت السودان. فعاوز اشوف يعني رايك شنو في الحته دي. بالنسبه للحته بتاعت الاسلام it's a very controversial topic itself. يعني انه احنا ذاتنا نتكلم عن الاسلام ونتفرجن في الاسلام. My point of view, I think we keep having the wrong debate and the wrong conversation actually. I think everybody here understands انه الاسلام بتاع داعش ده ما هو الاسلام اللي بيكون اللي احنا دايرينه. و I think لو statistically يعني I think انه الماجوريتي بتاعت المسلمين ما هم زي داعش. So I don't think انه this is the problem. I think the problem انه the very fundamental debate بتاع انه هل فعلا دايرين ذات الاسلام يكون عنده اي علاقه بالسياسه وبالدوله وبنظام الحكم وبالحياه دي كلها ولا لا؟ I think this is the debate that we have to actually have, and I think we take the wrong approach when we try to prove it من وجهة نظر إسلامية، لأنه بنرجع تاني للحتة بتاعت إنه شنو؟ أنا من وجهة نظري الإسلامية شايف إنه الإسلام المفروض يكون ما عنده علاقة بالدولة، وأقوم أجي أفرضها على زول تاني برضه من وجهة نظر إسلامية شايف إنه الإسلام عنده علاقة بالدولة. So I think this is the wrong approach to actually even have that kind of discussion. I think we need to have more of, I don't know how to put it, like more of like a philosophical debate around الحتة دي، وتخليه ترجع تاني للحتة بتاعت إنه who is going to lead this kind of change. محتاج أتكلم بالإنجليزي ولا
السلام عليكم. أنا في الحقيقة عايزة أتكلم شوية في 2 بوينت بتاعت التشينج والجفرمنت. بالنسبة للتشينج يعني زي ما الأستاذ أشار إنه فعلا لازم يكون الإنسان بيسفول مع نفسه، لكن إنك تكون بس بيسفول مع نفسك أنا بفتكر ما كفاية، لأنه البيس نفسه عنده زي 4 dimension عشان نحقق حاجات structural، ودي عندنا إحنا مهمة شديد في السودان. لانه اضرب لكم مثال بسيط، مثلا المواطن البسيط عندنا في السودان يقول في النيل الازرق مواطن فعلا بيسفول ومسكين، لكن ما عايز بيس لانه في عوامل خارجه من ايده استراكشر مثلا زي الجفرمنت، الباور، الانستتيوشنز، اشياء زي دي بتاثر في البيس بتاعه. فيعني just be peaceful with yourself will take you nowhere. يعني فعلا في دي بس حاجه اللي هي interrelational or interpersonal، لكن عندنا الكالتشرال وعندنا زي ما قلت الجفرمنتال والستراكشرال اذر دايمنشن بتاثر في البيسفول. يعني العمليه متكامله. just بي بيسفول دي نحن بالذات نحن في السودان الناس اصلا طيبين عندنا، لكن في حاجات اهم منها ناقصانا شديد، بالذات الاستراكشر اي ثينك فيها رولز وريجوليشن وانستتيوشن واشياء زي نفس القصه بتنطبق مع الجفرمنت. الاستاذ قال انه برضه لو اخذنا نظام البشير ما في شيء تشينج حيحصل. ايوه ما حيحصل تشينج لانه تديك نظام البشير بس زي قصه لما حصلت الثوره بتاعت ابريل ما حصل تشينج. في حاجات ثانيه لازم تتغير، اهمها التوعيه، لانه مجرد تغير النظام وتجيب نظام ديمقراطي عندك انتخابات، الانتخابات حتجيب لك منه؟ واللي حينتخبهم منه؟ الناس اللي حينتخبوا الناس ديل لازم تكون في توعيه، يعرفوا هم بينتخبوا منه وليه، ولازم ما يقبلوا باي حزب وما يقبلوا باي قياده وما يقبلوا باي من الاشياء اللي احنا عارفينها موجوده عندنا الطائفيه وغيرها. يعني يطلبوا يكون في تغيير، في طرح جديد and so on. فدي افتكر من الحاجات يعني التشينج ما ممكن ناخذها انها فعلا هي بتبدا بالانسان، لكن في حاجات حوالينا كثيره عشان فعلا انت تاخذ نتيجه. شكرا.
عشان بس ما يكتر عليا بصور انسى. سوري. Let me respond to these 3 points. And it is not necessarily really to respond in the sense of counter-arguing. It's just trying to clarify maybe we are in more agreement than we think. On the first remark about let them go to hell, unfortunately they will take me with them. that they have been going to hell and taking everybody else with them. And so that's one problem with it. But in any case, that the question is our constituencies. That the point is that precisely because we believe in democratic values and we believe in the human dignity of every single person, that we should never really feel comfortable or think it conceivable or feasible that we coerce other people into taking up our position. So it is not about so which goes to one of the other remarks subsequent about one side coercing the other to accept a point. It is that we should try, and in fact actually all 3 points can be brought together. We do need the structures and institutions so that we can achieve the conducive environment that we talked about for change, in order to produce the leadership that we need for change. But all of that has to come in the first place from us too. So it is not the question of conducive environment. Where is the conducive environment going to come from? Is it not going to be also our obligation to bring about that conducive environment? And in what is our understanding of it? And what are we doing to make it happen? So the question remains in that sense. The leadership issue, again, the question is where is the leadership going to come from? Now let us see. We have been independent since people who know us since 1956.
My age.
Which is 70 years. Now we know that, يا إخواننا, even الحزب الشيوعي was ruled by the same elite since the 1960s. حزب الأمة, the same family. You know so we know that let's not just talk. Let us actually look at what is factual. So the question is leadership. What are we doing to bring about a new leadership that will make a difference? So granted, leadership we need. What are we doing to make it? Where is it going to come from, and how is it going to become leader? So do you expect that after the political change, the leader will emerge by itself somehow? Or is it something that we have to really prepare for and build for over time and build confidence and trust and so on? So I think the conducive environment is relevant, but it is we who are the source of that conducive environment. And the human factor is the most important factor in that conducive environment. The point about the remark about why is an Islamic perspective at all, simply because of our constituencies, if not because of our personal conviction. Meaning that as a Muslim myself, I need to be convinced from an Islamic point of view that what I'm saying is true. And if I don't, I wouldn't be saying it. And in my personal case, I came to this conviction, in fact, in 1967. And I have held it since 1967. And I have not found any better alternative. And I'm willing to debate it, but that is not the subject I thought for our discussion here. The point is that each one of us, so okay, so if you don't care for Islam altogether, fine. And I did start with that. I did say that being Muslim or Islam is a matter of choice. And it has to be, and that if it's not a matter of choice, it has no value. This was the first thing I said today. So yes, absolutely, if you don't feel that way, fine. But the problem is that most people do. And for those people, if you want to be democratic, unless you want to rule them totally by in a fascist, authoritarian way, you have to persuade them that what you are saying is in fact consistent with a valid true understanding of Islam, and not just simply because you say so. So we do need an Islamic perspective, and there is an Islamic perspective that enables us to do this. I think those who care can find either, by the way, the question about verses of the Quran and Hadith and so on, the position that I take is that you absolutely need a paradigm shift. It is not possible to do this within the framework of usul al-fiqh. That is, there is a field of Islamic scholarship called usul al-fiqh, which is the methodology of driving Sharia principles out of the text of the Quran and Sunnah. It has to do with the question of ranking of the authority of Quran and Sunnah. What if they are in conflict? What do you do? Which take precedence over another? What verses are general? What verses are specific? It's a vast and highly sophisticated field that has in fact served Muslim scholars for centuries extremely well. But I think it has come to its final or sort of exhausted all its utility. That it is no longer useful to work with. It does not take us where we need to go. And simply, this was a humanly constructed methodology. It is not divinely ordained. There is no mention of usul al-fiqh a single time in the Quran or in Sunnah. And go and look for it. Go and look for it. Go and look for usul al-fiqh in the first 3 centuries of Islam. You will not find it. It's a product of the 3rd century, actually. And it came about specifically certain Muslim scholars debating what we need to do. And the primary so-called architect of usul al-fiqh is the Imam al-Shafi'i. And his book, Al-Risala, in which he summarized the main principles and highlighted the questions of priorities and ranking and all of that. This came about in Shafi'i lived 250 years to 300 years after the Prophet died. That book was resisted by Muslim scholars for 100 years. It was not accepted the day it came out, just a bestseller on New York Times, bestseller or something. That it was rejected. And the thing is that whatever we know now as Sharia is in fact a product of what I call